All right, all right. Let's go ahead and get started. Todd, welcome. Penny, welcome. Who else we got here joining us? Wayne, Tracy. Hi, guys. So glad you're here. All right. Welcome again to the Espresso Agent Mastery Sessions. I'm Monica Weekly, your host. If you've been on any of these before, you might recognize my face. Each time, we do this about twice a month, and each time we go out and find some of the coolest people for you to meet. People that, quite frankly, it's very hard to get an hour of their time, even if you paid them. And we find these incredibly generous people to come into our world for 1 hour, volunteer an hour of their time, and share some wisdom. Because, you know, Espresso Agent isn't just incredible data served up to you nicely every day for you to make as much money as you want, but also, you know, to bring you extra value and just insights into the business that you might not get on a daily basis in your office, wherever you are. So kudos to you guys for investing in yourself and taking a little time for some personal growth. Psyched about that. Okay, housekeeping. You'll notice that you guys are on mute, and that is not because we don't want to hear from you. Exact opposite. We want to hear from you. We just mute you so that you have listening pleasure, because you know what it's like when somebody's got some random something going on in the background and it's really annoying and it's hard to track down who it is. So we just mute everybody. But that's what the chat bar comes in handy for, and you'll see it along the bottom. You can also use the Q&A. I will monitor both of them. If you have a question for Jerry as he's talking and going through his PowerPoint, please, please, please ask it. Chances are somebody else has the exact same question and could spark a great conversation. So there are no bad questions. There are no silly questions. We've got somebody that's been doing this for a long time, and I imagine that we can get some real powerful knowledge from him today. So the last thing I'll say before I introduce Jerry is somebody always asks, can I watch this back, or will I have access to this? And as always, the answer is yes. Espresso Agent has a YouTube channel, and it's really good. And you guys should go there and subscribe. And what they'll do is they'll take this tape and they'll put it out on the Espresso Agent YouTube channel, and you can watch it back. If you go there, you'll see some of the past webinars that we've done as well. You can kind of peek around and see if anything interests you in the way of a topic there. So I welcome you to do that. If you like something you see on the screen, rather than asking for the PowerPoint, why don't you just take a snapshot of it with your phone, and then you can reference it back. I'm not sure what Jerry has in store for us, but if there's something you'd like to be able to reference back, go ahead and just take a quick pic of it, okay? All right. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest, Jerry Bresser. Jerry has been coaching real estate agents for many years. We won't even give the total. Should we, Jerry?
Go ahead, 50.
50 years. I mean, do you think that there is some long-lasting, good kind of just core sales advice here? Jerry, we're really lucky to have you today. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, he lives in Michigan. He has 4 grown kids. And you were a sailor at one point, right? You'd like to sail?
Yeah, in fact, I don't see it in a picture. It's on the wall. I had a 68-foot sailboat. I bought it in Santa Monica. Marina Del Rey.
Okay, nice.
Marina Del Rey. And I was having it delivered, didn't like what was happening, so I fired the crew in Acapulco. We caught up with them, fired them. And then I took it, my family, and we sailed around from the Pacific through the Panama and up to Key West first, and then to Fort Lauderdale. So there was a sailor's dream.
Wow, I should say. Yeah. That's great. And you had been a pilot in your life before too, right? Flying your own twin engine?
Yeah, there's a picture over my shoulder there, a twin engine Cessna, and I flew that for 20 years, yeah.
Very cool. So you're an adventuresome guy as well.
I try to be.
I love it. I'm going to let you take it away. I will interject with questions where it seems appropriate, and if not, we'll circle back to all questions at the end. What do you have, like 30 minutes or 40 minutes for us, or something
40,
like that?
About 40 we should do. We'll see what happens.
Perfect.
Sometimes
all right.
a bit longer. But here's the deal. I want to role play with somebody who's going to pretend that they're a seller So
That's
that's going to
me.
be you, right?
That's
All right.
me. I will do it.
And I just want to cover this basis. All I ask is that you want to sell your house in about 90 days. You want the home sold in 90 days. Okay.
Okay. I'll be that person.
And you're not underwater, so there's some equity,
Okay.
whatever it is. But other than that, I don't want to know anything else because we'll find out as we go.
Perfect.
And so we'll see. So at the appropriate time. And all I want you to do is when I ask a question, say something that you respond as though you were selling your house, not academically as a salesperson. Got
I'll
it?
try to put on my inner seller's hat.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So I want to start with this. I find this, it amuses me every time I look because I think of agents looking for the wrong way and most people, it amuses me how many people don't see the line. And, but we can also use this card to get some listings, and I'll show you this in a bit. All right, anyway, onwards we go. I got to do one little burp here to make sure it works, and then there. Okay,
Yep.
So folks, everybody, welcome. And this is your invitation to list better and win big. And I want to do this. Oh, by the way, it's also your invitation. I want to get specific to earn $72,000 extra in the next 12 months, in case you're interested.
I think we might be interested.
Yeah. So anybody interested, I would say if I was on my webinar, I'd say raise your hand so you can see what they're saying. But here's the point. I know you're interested. I want to say this. We have often been our own worst enemies. And I like this cartoon for that reason. Because have you ever come out of a house and you didn't get the listing and you just feel like something wasn't quite right? You missed the boat, not them. And we're going to cure that today. That's it. I'm going to cure that today.
Great.
Well, I'll give you the way to cure it. You're going to have to learn some stuff. All right. Michelangelo said, I want to start here. Michelangelo said that the greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aims too high and falling short, but in setting our aims too low and achieving the marks. And he didn't say this, but it extends out to saying we find a comfort zone at lower levels and we don't reach out beyond our comfort zones. So let's take a look at a higher comfort zone. Like, by the way, $72,000 is a lot of money. And the problem is that we're conditioned to grow gradually. So we think, well, if we have a 25 or 30% or 35% increase in our business, each year, that's good. And it is good, except it's very limiting because if you're only doing, for example, what's his name? Stefan Swanepoel said that he's a researcher in U.S. I've known Stefan for years. I met him in South Africa, actually. And he says that in 2017, the average real estate agent had only 7.1 transactions. And since most of the transactions are sales instead of listings, the average person probably had about 3 or 4 listings per year. Well, if you had 4, and you increase your business by 25%, you get 5. And so why shoot for 5? So again, Michelangelo, we shoot too low. Why not shoot for what can be happen? Well, if you learn the right things, it's quite easy to do at least 2 a month. That's 24. That would be a pretty decent income. So that's what I want to focus on. Think outside the box, right? So let's start here about what makes a perfect listing interview. Monica, what do you think makes a perfect listing interview?
When you get the contract and you're happy with the terms.
Price to sell. Good commission. Staged above average. Proof's in the pudding. Sells faster than average. Sells for above average prices. You're almost perfect. There's one more item. Monica, what do you think the perfect the 7th item might be?
I think it is probably that they become a raving fan of yours afterwards. Yes.
You get 2 referrals. You got it all right. You won. Okay.
Thank you. What do I want?
So my goal, if anybody here would like to get involved with my training, my goal would be to prepare you to start averaging a listing a week. The plan is to train and coach you to get 5 listings in the next 10 weeks, starting August 13th. We're going to start a course and finish that week number 7, 8, 9, and 10, the last 4 weeks, that you have a listing a week. That would be my plan, so that you have the first 6 weeks to learn stuff and get started, and then you have the last 4, you get a listing a week. Now, will it work? Yeah, for some people it will. I had a course recently, and one guy stopped showing up, and I called him and said, why? He said, well, I got 18 listings in 18 days. I was too busy. Okay, you're excused.
Okay, you pass.
So if you want to do well, here's a word to the wise: give good service and advertise. So listings a week, 4 secrets. First of all, you got to become a listing expert. You got to have expertise in this field. There's actually a degree or a certificate, certification called subject matter expert, SME. It's actually official, SME, subject matter experts. And if you're going to be in this business with listings, why not be a subject matter expert in the area of listings? And so what does that mean? A perfect listing, perfect listings, not any listings. I had a guy come to me in Windsor one time, and I just did a seminar there, and he came up and he said, I have a problem. It was my first year in business. I got 27 listings. I said, wow, great. He said, only 6 sold. No one had told him about pricing them right. And so he had, not only did he lose all that time and energy and motivation and momentum, but he also had 21 people bad-mouthing him in town. So you don't need that. So a perfect listing, on demand, any day and any week. You should be able, if you're a listing expert, you should be able to wake up on Monday morning and say, I want a listing today, and you can get a listing today. By 6 or 10 p.m. at the latest, you have a listing in your hands from somebody, not that you were working on for weeks and months leading up to this, but from a fresh prospect. And the deal that I'm excited about dealing with you, Monica, because if you're giving people current listing leads from FSBOs and expireds, and they become subject matter experts on working with FSBOs and subject matter experts on working with expireds. There's a lot of subjects, by the way. So the listing expert is an expert in a lot of subjects. And you'll see this today. I think you'll see a path. So having said that, there are 4 levels of competence. And I think it's worth reviewing these things real quickly. Because when we're born, we were unconsciously incompetent. We didn't know anything. We didn't know what we didn't know. Now you stop and take that forward. A new agent is at the age of 20, 30, 40, or 50, gets a real estate license, joins a firm. They are unconsciously incompetent about what it takes to make a living in real estate. At that moment in time, they have no clue, right? As time progresses, we become consciously incompetent. Oh, I didn't know this. And so we suddenly become aware of what we didn't know. Now, some people don't ever get out of unconscious incompetence, but most people say, okay, and they decide I got to learn something, and so they become consciously competent. The tragedy is that most people stop here because it's good enough. It's good enough. It's average. It's good enough. And the winners, the pros, and the champions, they go for unconscious competence, or I rather like it better, automatic competence, i.e. highly skilled. Right? Now, so if you go out, for example, anybody, you're calling on a FSBO, rap on the door, and they open the door and you say, hi, I saw your sign, and I just wondering if, whatever you say normally, I don't want to put words in your mouth at the moment, we would say, for example, I saw your sign, might ask if I could find a qualified buyer willing to pay a price acceptable to you. Would you accept such an offer through my company? Would you? And most people say yes. But this prospect says, well, thank you, but I'm trying for two more weeks myself, but if I can't find a buyer, then I'm going to list with a neighbor of mine down the street because he has a real estate license. If you do not have an instant answer, you lost. You got a picture. On the other hand, our accumulate, I don't want to say research because we don't do that kind of research, but we just get data over the years. Our experience is that if you have the right answer, you can get the listing probably 10 out of 10 times with that answer. And here's the answer. If you felt that someone else had a superior marketing strategy and could actually get you more money and a quicker sale and fewer problems, would you still be committed to listing with the other person? And most people say no. Now here's the point, and this is why I'm quote unquote famous to a certain degree. Every word counts. And here's the problem. When we're brought up, we start out making as kids, we sometimes make braggadocious statements like, when I grow up, I'm going to have a mansion with a 13-car garage and a Lamborghini in one, Rolls Royce in another one. We get big statements. And the first time or two we say that, our parents and other people say, isn't that cute? But about the second or third time we say it, they say, wise up, kid. And then all of a sudden we learn that we can't make those kind of statements. So we start changing words to less strong words. And here's where it comes out. I was teaching a course on real estate, calling FSBO, and we're talking about friend in the business. If you felt that someone else could actually, and we had a different version at that time, if you felt that someone else could actually get you more money, quicker sale, fewer problems, would you still be committed to listing with the other person? And I saw a lady read that out loud to herself. I said, when I run a class, by the way, in a live class, I have people practice out loud for 5 or 10 minutes and then practice with a partner for another 5 or 10. We go get another one. And by the end of 5 days of doing that, they have a real strong sense of what to say and what to do and how to say it. And she would put the book down and say, if you felt that I could get you more than your friend, would you still be obligated? And she put it back up, read it correct. If you felt that someone else could actually get you more money, quicker sale, fewer problems, would you still be committed to listing with the other person? Put the book down, say, if I could get you more money than your friend, would you still feel obligated? Now, she was making 3 different mistakes and not knowing, because she was reacting to what she was brought up with without thinking it out. And I want to go to, she mentioned friend. I didn't. I said the other person. I don't want a relationship with friend. Number 2, she changed it from commitment to obligation. Well, yeah, the neighbor could think he's obligated to the friend down the street because the friend helped him unload his trailer in the rain one time and did this favor and that favor. And he's been a friend. And so at the party last month, at the cocktail party or picnic in the backyard, whatever, he said, yeah, whenever I list, I'll sell with you. So now he's a for sale owner, and he still has his sense of obligation. So if you say, would you still be obligated? They're going to say, yeah.
Yeah, I'm obligated.
Would you still be committed? How committed can he be if he has a for sale bonus on the lawn? You make sense? So this is what I'm talking about. Automatic competence is you say the right things in the right way at the right time. So now let's take a look at something else. So let's assume if you learn to be a competent and an unconsciously competent real estate agent, what's next? Oh, so I just find my listing prospect. You are Monica.
Okay.
Right? So now, let's say I get a referral, and they make a referral, and we have an appointment, all right? And so I'm at your house. I walk in and I say, we have chit chat of normal, just build a little rapport. And then I say, Monica, where can we sit? I sit, and I bring out this sign and put it on the table. And what it says is $10,000, win big, sell your house for more than average, ask me how. So I say to you, Monica, if you choose to list with me today, everything that I'm going to say and everything I'm going to do will be aimed at giving you a 95% chance of selling your house for 5% above average. How does that sound?
Well, that obviously sounds very good.
Okay. It's a good starting point, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll start there.
And here's the point. When you start that way, you have instant control of a listing interview. And if you have the rest of the thing, you can maintain control and they can't interrupt you. And if you said to me, how much do you charge? All right, I have to reflex. I can't stop and think about it. I can't look puzzled. I can't say, well, no. It's a question. I don't charge. I suggest that you offer, but I don't charge. But I do have a question for you. Monica, In round figures, what do you think your house is worth? 250, 350, 450, some, or 3, 4, whatever. How many hundreds? Where is it? Where's your house?
I think it's probably right at the 300 mark.
300. Perfect. Okay. If I could find someone willing to pay 400,000 for your house, would you pay me 10%?
Yeah.
Why not? You'd have an extra 90,000 bucks. That's why.
Right.
Okay. So, which is more important? How much commission you offer, or how much you net when the deal's done?
Netting, but still, I obviously am concerned about that expense.
You realize that you don't pay the commission, or do you realize that?
I don't know. I don't know what you
Has
mean.
anybody ever explained to you that you don't pay the commission? Sellers don't pay the commission.
Oh, I feel like I do.
Hang on.
Okay.
There's only 3 ways to sell a house. Auction, not recommended, brings out super bargain hunters. For sale by owner, not recommended because research shows that of 1,300,000 homes surveyed just last year, 200,000 by owners, the 200,000 by owners sold their houses for 6% less. 1,100,000 buyers paid 6% more when they bought through real estate. Now, if the commission is 6% and the buyers are paying 6% more when they buy from real estate, who is actually paying the commission?
Yeah, sure.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't pay.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
All right. So let's go on. So let me show you something. Why this is important. At any price range, Monica, there's almost always a 10% difference between the lowest selling price and the highest selling price of any 10 homes that should be selling for the same price. 10%. Now, if 10% is a difference from the top to the bottom, then the average would be in the halfway mark. So that means there's a 5% difference between average and low and average and high. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the bottom line. If you sell your house incorrectly, you do the wrong approach, you find the wrong agent, or you do it on your own, or you just find the wrong strategy, you could wind up selling your house for 5% less than necessary, 5% less than the average. Okay. Now, a question for you. 5% of 300,000 is 15,000, correct? As it says. Suppose you woke up tomorrow morning, Monica, and discovered $15,000 missing from your bank account. How would you feel?
Devastated.
Exactly. Everybody would. Most people would.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you sell your house for $15,000 less, so let's say you sell your house in, say, 3-4 months, and you sell it for $15,000 less. You just lost $15,000 from your net worth. That's bad news.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some good news. If you do the average things, you can expect to get average results. There's a bottom line, there's a negative side to being average. It also means that's the best you can expect. And also, here's something else. 15 years of data shows that a study was done and data was accumulated for 15 years. And it showed that on average, let me see, I'm in the right place here. On the average, 44% of the listings expired and 56% sold. So if you do the average things, you got almost a 50-50 chance of having to go through a listing, expire, and relist and start again. That's not good news, especially when you want to sell in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here's the best news of all. If you do the right things, you get the right agent, the highest reason sale is 315, then see, let me back up a second. People say, what makes you different? What makes you better? The average agent shooting for average results. Most people are shooting for in life. Most people want to be average. Teenagers growing up, when you think back to when you went to school, 1 or 2 people wanted to ace the courses, but most kids want to fit in. They were happy being average. They all grow up to be real estate. It was their average. So if the average home is selling for 300,000, the average agent is happy to, if they get an offer close to 300,000. I'm saying, why? If the highest recent sale was 315, why not shoot for 315?
That's a good point.
Here's another question. If we could sell your house for 315, extra 15,000, is it fair to assume that you could find something worthwhile to do with the money?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. One lady said, yeah, credit cards are gone, right?
Right.
So my point is this. If it's potentially there, does it make sense for you to do everything you can think of, everything that you can lead, you can follow to give yourself the best chance to make that happen?
Yeah, but aren't all agents doing those things?
Actually, no. That's the problem. Actually, no. The average agent is shooting for average results. It takes a strategy to get above average results. Would you like to see the strategy?
Even in this crazy market where everything's selling so fast?
Even when it's selling so fast in this crazy market, there's still going to be if you take 10 in this crazy market, if you find 10 homes that should have sold for 300,000, you're going to find that one sold for 285 and one sold for 350. In fact, that is actually a rather conservative minimum, because the evidence we've been gathering in the last 3 years showing that the average could be not just 10%, but 11 or 12 or even 13%. That on a $300,000 house, there's a $40,000 difference between the lowest selling price and the highest selling price. 40,000. That's like the lowest selling price would be 280, and the highest selling price would be 320. So now it's even bigger. But I'd like to do 10% because it's conservative and it's easy to do the math in the head. All right. By the way, at this moment, does it sound like I have a strategy? Does it sound like I would know enough to have a strategy that could get you the best chance for more money?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. I mean, I like what you're saying, but I'm not sure yet.
Very good. Okay. So let's take a look. How would you like to see an extra $10,000 in your settlement check at closing?
That would be good. It would help pay for the agent.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look. What I'm going to do is I want to hold that off for a bit because I got something in wrong here. So the point being, first we have to be a listing expert. Then we have to have so now let's talk, we know how to do this. Then we need a business plan of daily activities, including tracking and accounting, accountability. And then we're going to need a theme. Let's talk, we want to say, how can we get our business up? We need a theme that will inspire you and your future clients. Now, we're not role-playing anymore, okay? It's off
sure.
All right. And then as your center of influence, because friends and relatives and vendors can help you. In fact, a young lady took my course, Cassandra, I think her name was, took my course in Wilmington, Delaware. She was 20 when she took the course. She had just moved there. Her father was in the military, moved from Ohio to Wilmington. And so he knew nobody there. She knew nobody there. But she was impressed with a real estate lady who sold their house in Ohio. So she decided to get a real estate license. She did. And then she typically said, well, what do I do? Her broker said, Bresser's coming to town. He's got a good reputation. We'll see him. So she came to my webinar and she made a decision not to call FSBOs, not to call expires, but to set up centers of influence. And she went to the hardware store and everybody that she could think of, restaurants, any place she went, dentists, doctors, the lawyers, anybody she could find that would be in position of knowing someone is going to be buying or selling a house. And she cultivated them as the centers of influence with a special presentation using our listing presentation as the core of that. And she got 52 transactions her first year in business and never did a cold call, never did anything just other than work those referrals to the nines. And it was why.
Wow, that's great.
But she had drive. She had drive. And she got a focus, and she had, I don't know what her theme was, but she had a theme, and I want to come back to that. And then finally, you need an advertising campaign that's designed to bring you up to the listing of the week, and so that becomes your normal. By the way, the listing of the week, you should actually be not doing more than 60 hours a week at the most. I just talked to one guy yesterday, and he said, I say he was doing a listing a week, and I said, how many hours a week you put in? He said 30. This is when you everything is easy for the highly skilled, difficult for the semi-skilled, impossible for the unskilled. Why not become highly skilled? Mm-hmm. And that's the first step. And then life becomes all easier. So now I want to talk about a theme, because this is what can change. What's going to make you different and better? So Terry Paranik took my course. He was in his early 20s, I think 22. He was only 3 months in the business when he took the course. This was in Edmonton, Alberta, and it's about 25 years ago. And at the end of the week, at that time, I ran a 5-day course, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I was doing it all around the country. That's why I had the airplane.
Yeah.
He came, and at the end of the week, he came up to me and said, "This is terrific. You have no idea how great it is." He couldn't actually. He said, "I want to be one of your trainers." I said, "Fine, get yourself a track record and call me." And so he didn't call. I came back a year later. He showed up in the class. He said, "Well, I did 94. I did 94 transactions. Is that good enough?" I said, "Yeah, it's good enough." He said, "Yeah, but now I can't afford to be a trainer. I make too much as a real estate agent." Now, he decided on Superman being his theme. And so he got himself pictured with the Superman body, but his face. He had a picture with himself with a suit on and the cape flying over his neck, and he's flying over the city, and all kinds of promotional stuff he did with Superman. And he did 75 properties he listed that was turned out to be 96 total, or 94 total, and 75 listings for his first year. It's huge. So now here's my point, folks, everybody. What theme could you use that could give you a kind of momentum like that type of thing? And
Why does that work, Jerry? Why does a theme work?
Because it gets you excited, because it's something. Here, look at, there's an insurance group on, you see the ads all the time about the talking gecko. That's their theme. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the price gun, that's the theme, right? Mm-hmm. And there's different themes. You build on a theme, but in this case, here's one asset why the theme works. Because he advertised, and that's what the thing said. If you get a good service and advertise. The problem with most agents going around here, nobody knows their agent. They're secret agents. Semi-secret agents. The public doesn't know. But everybody knew, because he was mailing. He was sending mail. He actually built it towards the end, when he had making some big money. He got a billboard, and Terry Paranik, Superman. And one day he walked out and knocked on a FSBO door, and the FSBO opened the door, and Terry said, "Hi, my name is Terry Paranik." And the guy said, "Oh, Superman, come on in. I've been expecting you."
That's great.
All right. That's the kind of thing. Is if people are sitting there, they're not making motions yet, but they're ready to identify with you. Can we do that? And the answer, I think, is yes. So everybody likes to win big. Do you agree with that?
Sure.
We could make win big our central theme. Let's take a look. Everybody likes to win. Sellers want more money. Agents want more listings. Brokers want more buyers, market share. So everybody wins, right? So suppose that you adopt this theme, which I showed you on your table when you were a seller, and make this our theme. $10,000, win big, sell your house for more than average. Ask me how, right? Now, and then let's make it, and then run a 1-year campaign and gain listing supremacy. By the way, listing supremacy means that you have more listings from an area than anybody else in the area. That's you're supreme, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, take a look. How can we do this? Well, we start with some cards. Let's get some 5x7 postcards, which can be used as handouts. You don't have to post them. And you can punch a hole in the corner, and you can then put a rubber band through it and use a door hanger, all right? But let's look with the side. The front side says $10,000, win big, sell your house for more than average. Ask me how. And on the back side, it says working hard to get sellers more. Again, you're selling already. The first thing they read is selling, working hard to get sellers more. It says you're different, you're better at working hard to get sellers more. The other side of the card says more than average, right? In any price range, there's almost always a 10% difference between the lowest selling price and the highest selling price of any 10 properties that should have sold for the same price. So how would you feel if you could net an extra $5,000 or $25,000 when you sell your house? Don't leave the sale of your house to chance. I use a customized strategy. Stop right here. Everybody likes to have, when you go and buy clothing, most of the time you have it fitted. It's customized for you. You want stuff customized. Almost everybody identifies well with customized strategy that gives you the best chance to sell at above average prices. That could be an extra 25 to 25. Now here's another point. I will call you this week to tell you more about it. This is a pre-approach letter or business card, all right? Now, little story back here. I grew up my dad ran a directory business, and we don't have directories around anymore. They used to call them city directories, cross indexes, city, Coles and Haynes. I don't know where you are, Monica, but there was a directory. What town are you in?
I'm in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, so that would have been Haynes. Okay. And you may remember, if you didn't.
Haynes Crisscross, yeah. When I was first in the business, we used it.
Okay, that's before Google, right? And that's
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Now, when Google came on, we all fade out. But at that time, I worked for my dad, Bresser Cross Index in Detroit.
Okay.
And so, anyway, we started up a directory business in Milwaukee, and I met a guy named Robert Montgomery, and he was a mortgage broker, and he told a very interesting story. He belonged to Rotary, and if you remember Rotary, at least at that time, I don't know about today, they only allowed one person per industry in the group, and so that openly you could support everybody else and feel at ease doing that. And so he made a claim, though. He said if any salesperson in any industry would send out 10 letters a day and then follow up with 10 phone calls, they would be the top of their sales in their area within 90 days. And somebody says, oh, Robert, that might work for you, but it won't work for the average guy. Why would it work for me? Well, because your name is like Sears and Roebuck. Everybody knows who you are. And no, he said, I could go to a different part of town. I could get a license in a different business, and I could be a top agent in 90 days. And somebody says, I got 10 grand and you can't do that. He said, I'll take your bet. Somebody said, can I get in? Can I get in? Can I? $40,000, boom, on the table. So he went back to his office and he said to his secretary, my neck is on the line here, Kel.
Yeah.
Send out 10 letters every single day. And at those days, he had to type one individually, and he sent out 10 letters a day. And here's his advice. He says, a pre-approach letter commits the salesperson to make the call. I will call you this week to tell you more about it. Here's what his letter said. Dear folks, now he got a license to sell life insurance. And in those days, you just went down, signed up, you got it. You didn't have to take exams on as it is today. So anyway, he got the license, and then he had to send out, and here's what the letter said. Hi folks, do you believe you can have a cake and eat it too? My company has just developed a new program that will allow you to do just that. My company has just developed a new life insurance program that will help you do just that. I will call you on Tuesday to tell you more about it. And what mail that went out on Monday said he'd call on Wednesday, Tuesday said Thursday, gave himself 2 days. And he said 10 letters a day, and to his secretary, and if you miss a day, you're gone. I can't play around with this thing. Make a long story short, the average life insurance salesperson was selling $750,000 of life insurance per year at that time. They're making about $7,500 in earnings. He sold $787,000, exceeding the average, in 87 days from a cold start. And he collected his $40,000. Right.
Nice.
And so ever since then, I've been telling, look, when you send out mail, keep it short and say, I'll call you to tell you more about it. All right. So, and then let me help you win big in your name and all this stuff. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I then designed 2 more cards just to show that you can have some variation. How would you like, how would you feel? By the way, again, if you say, what would you think about getting an extra 5 or 10,000 when you sell your house? Thinking about it is mental. Feeling is emotional. Where do most people make their decisions, emotionally or intellectually?
Emotionally.
Right. Therefore, how would you feel if you could net an extra 5, 10, or 20,000? It's not. Here's a very important point. Because some people get confused about selling more. Where's the money coming from? It's not about selling your house for more than it's worth. It's about making sure that you, Mrs. Seller, get all that it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, notice how you feel about that. I want all it's worth.
I just want what's fair, but I want all that's fair. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so most sellers accept average selling prices as the best they can do, unaware that they might be losing some serious money. Don't leave it for chance. I use a customized strategy, etc. I did a third one just to give another choice. This is for FISBOs. How would you like to feel if you could sell an extra 5, 10, or 20, sell your house? A major research company analyzed over 1 million residential home sales. The study showed that 200,000 buy owners sold for 6% less than agent assisted. And this, we make this course, the whole study's available. You can actually Google it. Collateral Analytics is the company. Mm-hmm. And you have to read the very last line says the average was 6% more sold through. And again, the rest of it's there. Okay. So the buy owners take all the risk. That's a nice thing. Buy owners took all the risk of selling privately only to give the entire savings to the buyers because they discount.
Jerry, do you have agents doing this right now? And the reason I ask is, in the day of digital advertising and whatnot, sometimes there's nothing that replaces something that shows up at somebody's house, I guess. But I'm sure people have a question about, is this still applicable today?
Absolutely. What do you mean? What's not applicable today?
I just think it might be a question in people's minds that they've sort of written it off when maybe they shouldn't have as a viable marketing option.
To send a postcards?
Yeah.
Oh, if you that's the whole point. We're not advertising, or we're advertising on Google and on Facebook and on Twitter and okay. I was watching somebody recently, and I won't mention the name because he's well known, but he was touting the use of social media to advertise your listings. Mm-hmm. And he said he did this and this and this. It was on Twitter and Facebook and something else. I forget what it was. And they had over 200 hits in just a few days. And I thought, which is better for you, Monica? You're selling your house. Which is better? 200 hits on Facebook or 2 local agents bringing their motivated buyers to see your listing today?
You got it. 2 agents bringing their motivated buyer. Yeah.
So that's kind of confirms the looking at the wrong way for the lion. Okay. Mm-hmm. So no, this is all fits today, but it's painful because unfortunately, see, this industry is brought up to have people believe that they can become millionaires without investing anything. Mm-hmm. It's not happening. Mm-hmm. 83% of the people who set out to make some money in this business don't even survive 3 years. Mm-hmm. 60% of the people are gone this year. And I don't feel badly for the people that came in with the wrong image and the wrong intent and just pop some here and there. They were going to play at real estate. I feel sorry for the people who need to make a good living and they don't learn to say what to say fast enough to survive or well enough to do as well as they could be doing. And then, but once you have the knowledge, then how do you get the word out? And so one way, for example, you could take I'll come back to this thing here. You could take flyers. You could make flyers, 8.5 by 11 flyers, and have message. And you could have different message here on the back. Whoops, let me do this back there. And you could have more message because the 8.5 by 11 is bigger than the card. But For example, I have a local newspaper that where I live here. It's a free newspaper, goes out to the whole area. And for less than half of the postage cost, you could put a flyer in their newspaper and it goes out to everybody. Now, does it, yes, it's a waste to send it to people who aren't going to move, or is it? Because almost everybody that you know knows somebody who's going to move or buy or sell a house within 1 year.
Absolutely.
Therefore, if this hits and they say, this is interesting, you're going to have people saying, hey, Charlie, did you see this? You're going to sell your house. Look at this.
$10,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about the consistency piece. Do you recommend, if you're going to just do the postcard angle, which I think still has validity, how important is consistency or repetition?
If you were going to send out 6,000 cards, I send out 1,000 cards 6 times. So every month or every other month. I would say every month.
Go smaller with more repetition rather than broader ones.
Yeah, sure. Because they get it. That's why the guy said, "Oh, Superman, come on in," because he didn't do it just once. In fact, when I was still working with my parents, my mother had an advertising business at that time, and direct mail advertising, and so I got to study that. And I learned from the Detroit Advertising Club, it was called, that 6 mailings was the ideal minimum to get the best results when you do something. So, and then they talked about something my mother did. J.L. Hudson's opened the first mega shopping mall in the whole United States here in Detroit, Southfield, way back when. And they mailed out 6-mile radius around there 6 times, and they had ways of measuring that they got better results. And then after 6, it started tapering off, so that it was trading money rather than making money, but you made money all through 6. So I would, consistency. That's a good question, Monica. Very important question.
Do you recommend if somebody on the call is saying, okay, I like this idea, I've got a theme in mind, or maybe they've already kind of toyed with it, do you recommend it going to their own database on a repetitive basis, or is this more of a farming tool where you're just trying to target the type of house?
Both. If you have a big database, you can work that, but how many people have a big database versus how many people have like 3 or 4 in the database to begin with, right? A handful of people are their friends. But here's the point. Again, back to this Cassandra, who made a great living her first year just doing. She went to in fact, it's worth telling the story. While she was in my class, she met 3 other guys, or people, I have to say, but I think there were 3 guys that were all getting fired up about the content of what I was training. And they decided to meet together to practice. They went to lunch every day and they talked and planned. And so after the course was over, Cassandra went back to the hostess at where they had met her and made a certain degree of friendship with her. And he said, Helen, I would like to talk to you, but I want to do 20 minutes. I want to show you something, but it takes 20 minutes, not here at this moment. So they met at some other donut shop. And she said, Helen, I'm brand new, but still I want to be one of the top 10 agents by the end of the year. And I can't do that by myself. I need the help of 12 to 15 people who would be willing to call me and tell me when they hear about someone who's going to buy a house or sell a house. Now, there's no reason for you to recommend me unless you know I'm good at what I do. So I'd like to show you. So suppose that you were selling a house and you said to me, why should I pick you instead of somebody else? Here's what I would say. Helen, there are 8 good reasons why you will benefit by having me represent you to sell your home. And she went through our 8 Good Reasons presentation, which we taught at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And today it would be like, how would you like to see an extra 10,000 in your settlement check, and go through what we call the aim above average presentation. But she made the presentation, and then she got done and said, Helen, think this out. If you were actually selling your house right now, do you see how you would benefit by having me represent you? I said, oh yeah, that's pretty good. She said, fine. So do you see how your friends or relatives and acquaintances would benefit by having me represent them? Well, yeah. So like I said, I want to be one of the top agents. Can't do it by myself. I need the help of 12 to 15 people who would call me when they hear about somebody. Can I count on you? Yes. She went to the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the hardware store, the nail store, every salon, every place she could go. She got them. And then she said, by the way, this is not a one-way street. Give me your business card. Oh, by the way, Helen, would you mind, would you think it a good idea to offer, let's say, a free meal for, for a couple, one free meal to anybody new coming into town to get them to start at your restaurant? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. So she got all these vendors to offer some kind of an introductory offer to people, $50 off your first purchase, yada, yada, whatever it was.
I love it. I love the sort of assembling your VIP fan club in a real honest and forthright way. I think agents a lot of times hesitate to say, hey, I have a goal I'm trying to achieve,
but
and I could use your help.
Exactly. But you have to have a feeling that you're doing something above average.
Right.
And that's where this whole program of the how would you like to see an extra 10,000? I want to do something real quick here then.
Well, and Jerry, I want to make sure we leave time for you to let everybody know how they can participate in your program if they want. So we're running down. We got about 5 minutes. So
okay, then let me do this then. I'll just real quick show you here. Oh, here's something else. You want something brilliant?
Yeah.
This theme. And by the way, you need a license to use this theme if you people want to use my theme. There's a little license fee because it's not that for everybody to do. It is trademarked, right? But print this on the face of a manila folder, and then when you're holding an open house, give them the folder and put the papers for the house in there. And then as they walk around to other houses, they're carrying around this message that says 10,000 went big.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have the point being, when you do that in open house, we didn't do that here. Mm-hmm. When you do this open house, every open house could be a source of extra leads, because when they pass by, you say, if you have a house to sell, talk to me before you leave.
You got it.
I have a couple clients that tell me that they double end 40 to 50% of their listings every year.
It's great.
Because they promote it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I love it. I love it.
So
good stuff. All right. So if somebody is interested in, you said you have a course that is
I do.
teaching this? Or?
Oh yeah. Just one more quick. Take the card that we introduced with the lion that people looking for a buyer in the wrong direction, or maybe looking in the wrong direction for the right listing agent. Mm-hmm. And on the back of it, you have a message. Sorry, there it goes. On the back, there's a message. Okay, ready to sell your house or condo, and then looking the wrong way for a right agent, etc. So, we have some pretty good creative stuff going here. Mm-hmm. By the way, we have 100 cards, and they are now into a case that's called the Listing Solution Collection, and that'll be available for sale in about 6 weeks. Okay. We'll start taking orders right away if people want it. And by the way, we call secret sauce strategy. We have 100 cards, actually 80 cards, and there's 100 sides. Some are two-sided, but we can take 3 cards and make, come on, settle down. And so we can take 3 cards, and you can actually get a listing just by those 3 cards. And the people, yes, are using this stuff today.
Great.
In fact, Michael Schultz, he's in Brighton, Michigan.
Yep.
He took my first course with these cards, and he got 82 listings the first year in 1 year. 82 listings.
Amazing.
All at 7%.
Nice.
Because we suggest that the right commission is % higher than the average.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because then we're going to share that with buyers agents, and more agents will show your house if it's priced right. They're definitely going to show your house if there's an extra commission. They'll even try to sell that house, and that solves another problem that people overlook. And the fact is that majority of agents don't even show houses.
Mm-hmm.
They open the front door and say, "Have at it, folks."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We have ways to cure that. So anyway, here's my deal.
So show us
There's my deal. So coming up real quick, I'll just put it all down here. So I have a course. It's $395, and they have monthly payments if you want that. The theme license is normally $500, but with the course it's only $50. And then you can use that, and that's a lifetime license. Okay. And then I'm suggesting that you get 1,000 personalized postcards, and they cost you 15 cents a piece, so $155 plus shipping and handling, or 2,500 at 11 cents each, so a little bit of a bargain. And then one tabletop card, and they're about $25 a pop. And the generic means it has no ID on the face of the card, but you can actually have the cards made with your logo on the theme. So you.
Okay. Oh, you froze up. We might have lost internet connection with Jerry. Can you guys still hear me? Do a chat. Let me know if you're still there. Is everybody still there? Yes. Okay.
Your company logo's on there. Are you still here?
Oh, there you go. Yep, Jerry, we're here.
I got it. Just froze for a minute. I said unstable, and that's okay.
You're good.
So I'm giving a 10-week high focus coaching. You know, coaching normally is like 10, 12,000 or more a year. This is 5,000 for. It's kind of open because it's 5,000 until you get 5 deals. Okay. And,
it's 5,000 until you get 5 deals. But it's over 10 weeks.
Well, the coaching will be over 10 weeks. What happens is actually this: if somebody does not have the 5 deals in the 10 weeks, I keep coaching until they do.
Until they get it. Got it. You are delivering a guarantee in some way.
In a way, yeah. Yep. And by the way, since I get it 175. Everybody has to have some monthly money in the game, but then the balance is paid at 20% of the commissions. But only until the cap is made. But that's how I collect, right?
So in other words, you'll work with people on their income situation.
I get paid when you get paid.
That's right. That's right.
You don't have to pay $1,000 a month. You pay $175 a month, and 20% of when you have a closing. And I don't get paid till you get paid.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to hear more about this?
JerryBresser.com is one way. That's my website.
Okay.
And 885. No.
Well, the website works. That's a good spot to go.
I flipped back 25 years to a phone number in my note. But I just want to point out, there's daily briefing, there's daily personal coaching, because the coaching is way too infrequent for most people to start with. Mm-hmm. You need to have daily coaching. It says down here, wait a minute, there it is, instant answers, 9 to 9.
Wow.
What I want to do is, anybody wants to join me and get on this thing here. If you make a call this afternoon at 5 o'clock and you don't get the listing and you have a pressing question, why didn't I get it, or what could I have said, call me instantly. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, there are going to be some times where I can't respond instantly, but we're going to do as fast as we can, because I want you before you go to bed, I want you to have an answer to that thing in your head. Because I have I've been at it for 50 years. I just willing to challenge anybody, come up with an objection that I can't handle. Obviously, not to do with financing, because that's local stuff.
Sure. No, but
Reasons about not selling or listing, right?
yeah, the psyche of sellers.
We're
I'm
going to help people. We're going to get the business off to a flying start. So that's what we're going to do.
Oh, that's
And again,
awesome.
we're back to our own worst enemy. Okay.
Yep,
So
you got it.
did you have any questions from people? Did they have any questions?
No, I think you were so thorough that there aren't any. If there are any, real quick, feel free to put something in the chat bar. But we've run over our time and we've taken up more than your time, so I think people have to go on too. This was really good. A lot of great stuff in here, Jerry. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
It was
And
really.
by the way, you can write to me at jerrybresser@gmail.com. jerrybresser@gmail.com, and I will answer that. If you've got questions you want to ask me or other people, they can talk to me that way.
Perfect.
Right?
You're getting some thank yous from the participants. Everybody is saying thanks. So, all right,
Well,
guys. Well,
I'll tell you what, I've got a gift, and let me wrap it up with a gift.
oh, okay.
I
We've
wrote
got
a
a lot.
book.
Okay,
I
go
wrote a
ahead.
book called More Money in Your Pocket. It explains how to sell your house faster than average at above average prices. I'll give that free as not a hard copy, but as a ebook.
Like an ebook. Okay.
Okay. Anybody writes to me, I give a free book.
Oh, that's perfect. So JerryBresser@gmail.com. Just let them know you'd like his ebook and get in touch. All right, guys, thank you for joining us for another mastery session. I hope you found it beneficial. Hope you got some good nuggets out of there. Jerry, thank you. You are a world of wisdom.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.